back to Liquid Lunch. Was that your music? We don't even know if it was your music.
It was Omar Shah. He's a wonderful musician who plays new age music. Really deep and lovely stuff.
Really?
Now, wait a minute. I was noticing your jacket and your necklace. Are those shells? Because I have one very similar to that, and it used to belong to my mother-in-law. So it's a very old piece.
This is from Africa.
Okay.
I'm feeling very African today. You know,
And you got lips all over, so how...
this I bought in Africa.
Okay.
But this is my Jeremy jacket.
Okay.
Jeremy?
Jeremy's my #1 grandson.
Okay.
And why I call it my Jeremy jacket is when I was teaching him body parts, I would say, you can kiss me on my cheek, you can kiss me on my nose, you can kiss me on my chin. And now, Jeremy, where do you want me to kiss you? And he said, on the yips.
On the yips.
So this is my yips jacket. Isn't that fun?
That's cute.
All right. Well, we're going to have to look up what yips means and clear this for family viewing later.
Okay.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Well, I'm back again.
You're
I'm
back.
surprised. You know, I'm delighted. Thank you for inviting me, Stella.
Oh, you're welcome. Because you have something important that I think you'd like to share with the folks.
Yeah, before we get into that, can we open the booze?
Yeah, open it, damn it.
Yeah.
I thought you would have done it already.
No, I think that doesn't booze refer to alcohol?
Yeah, I know. It's not real booze.
Well, you said Liquid Lunch, so
Exactly.
last
It's
Can I-
gotta be. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Okay,
pop
I'll open it.
the damn
absolutely,
thing.
but
You want
don't
me to
aim
do
it in my
I'll do it.
direction.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Something's
Okay.
gonna give.
Some's gonna give, some's gonna
Okay, well, I
give,
do this
some's
now
gotta
that-
give.
We'll
Okay,
just,
Yes.
We'll just,
You had something very important that a lot of people don't realize, right? And that is when you're born either with a cord around your neck or you're a breech birth or something else goes. You wanted to tell people how that really affects your life.
Oh, yes. Thank
How?
you, Stella. Good prompt. Well, birth...
That's what they pay me the big
That's
bucks
right,
for.
and you're good at what you do. The way you're born affects your whole life. You know, some people are born with their cords around their necks. Is that for me?
Well, it's for you, Tamara.
Oh, lovely. We're celebrating the week of Valentine's Day.
We're celebrating anything we possibly can here on Liquid Lunch. Come on. It's
But
fun.
we're listening tomorrow.
You spoke about adult ADD.
Yes.
Well,
That was in jest because when you get to, a certain age, you do forget more because your brain is on so much overload that it's impossible to remember everything and names that, the snap
well,
of a
that's
finger.
why rebirthing is so important.
Yes, and I've done it with you.
And I'm getting
Well,
it done.
Let's talk about your experience. Were you willing?
You really want me to talk
Yeah,
about
I
it?
do.
Because I call you my birth mother.
Yep.
And when I did it, it was the most...
Well, let's talk about what it is.
Oh, well, you talk about what it is because I just know what the experience was for me
Yeah,
and how
Tamara,
I
tell
felt.
us what it is.
So basically, what rebirthing or breath work is about is, as I mentioned once before, it's about three things. Being aware that not everything feels balanced or in order in your life. There's a little quote on one of my sheets that says, there's a 56-year-old man who after his fourth session said, I've waited 56 years to feel like this.
Wow.
Because until you really feel, balanced, in order, in bliss, in harmony.
In peace.
Exactly.
And that's the way I felt after the whole thing. And it really opened me up and to incredible energies. And
There's a memory improvement.
Yes, somewhat.
Because
She's
One
had other
swallow-
problems since
one-
then.
one swallow doesn't make a summer.
No, one swallow doesn't make... Never mind.
Stella,
I'm not going to
Stella.
go there. I'm not going to
Come
go
on.
there. I apologize. I was digressing. But I'm going to talk about my experience
Okay, please
because
do.
what you did with me, and I don't know if it's the whole process that you do with all your clients, but you taught me to breathe again with my mouth open instead of closed through my nose.
Okay.
And what I found was this incredible surge of everything coming to life inside of me. I could feel everything surging through my veins, the corpuscles. I could feel it going through my muscles. I felt myself vibrating. Speaking of which, you've got one. And I felt myself vibrating to the point where my arms, everything was tingling. And I honestly thought, had I been able to do that regularly, I felt like as if I could actually rise and levitate.
Not unusual.
Has anybody ever done it?
Levitated?
Yes.
No, not really. Maybe in their minds they have, but physically not with sessions with me. But that's not the point. You spoke about feeling that, as you get older, your mind gets full of thoughts and, you drop some on the way.
Mm-hmm.
When you carry tension in your body, the energy which connects you with the cosmos, with the universe, is not able to flow.
Mm-hmm.
And by relaxing and breathing in a conscious, connected way, you start to open up the channels for energy to flow. Natural energy, exuberant energy, alive energy, and the result of all of that is peace.
Well, that's what I felt. I felt an incredible peace come over me.
Yeah.
For weeks, I felt like this.
Yeah.
I still do,
Yeah.
to some extent, but pardon me. And I understand about being in full flow, because when you're in full flow, you're open and you get messages. I told you about this incredible dream I had. It was very metaphysical. I swear to God, this actually happened the other day. I was having a nap in the afternoon, as us old folks sometimes do.
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm sorry. But you know what? Many of my teachers along the path have said, when you have dreams, they're for you, not to broadcast. I know you're in broadcasting, but every time you mention the dream to other people, you lose a piece of it.
Do you?
Oh, absolutely.
This was so
So
incredible.
I'm encouraging you
To not
to
do
take that as information and a gift that was given to you,
It
not
was
to
a gift.
you. If you discuss it with somebody who you know and trust, to help you work it out, but don't disseminate it,
Okay.
if you don't mind me saying so.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
I want you to tell us, okay, you were starting to talk about what happens when people are born and how it affects them through their life when they have cords around their neck. And there's been a lot of people who are born that way. What kind of a life do
That's
they...
just one of the things. There are people who are breech.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are illegitimate.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are cesarean. There are people who are footlings. Their feet come first. A breech is when the baby is horizontal rather than vertically coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And all of them create thoughts in the mind of the individual who's being born. And it creates all sorts of stuff, like somebody who's late, somebody who's got an early birth, somebody who's got a late birth. Somebody will arrive and say, I'm always late. Well, if we start to question them and find out about their birth scenario, you'll find that, in fact, they were later than expected. And they keep reiterating that initial imprint on their lives. It's fascinating.
Well, okay, tell me, both my kids were cesarean, so I want to know what cesarean kids go through.
Okay, cesarean children don't have what is known as that struggle for life.
No, they just came out really nice and clean and everything.
I have 2 cesarean children and 4 cesarean grandchildren. I'm a cesarean kind of family.
Mm-hmm.
They find that life is fairly easier, much easier for them than the average person. They don't get the idea that they have to struggle. And very often it could be one thing or the opposite. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, they create struggle because they never had that struggle. Everything was always so easy for them.
Okay.
There's a fascination with knives, for example. They have a fascination. Fascination with knives.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Things that cut. What was their first experience of life?
Well, I don't know that they saw the knife when
You
they
don't
came
always,
out.
you know, it's not always what you see, it's what you experience.
Right. Well, I think I experienced that.
What,
That's
what
interesting.
happens if you were a girl and your father wanted a boy?
Well, that's exactly it. I always felt like I wasn't wanted.
Okay, that's another thing. And so you create situations in your life that pertains to your personal lie, because that's a lie. Okay.
Okay, yes, that's
So
the way
you
I
keep
felt.
creating situations to validate what you think is right.
Right, and that's why there's a lot of self-sabotage going on in people's
Yeah.
lives and throughout
And
their lives with
throughout
everything.
their lives.
And until you go through this rebreathing and rebirthing process, you really can't undo that.
You know, there are ways to do it, but this is the quick way.
I
The
thought
quick
so.
way could be 1 session, 10 sessions, 10 years of sessions. Depends on how quickly you assimilate and actually put what you're learning into practice.
Now, one of my children was not only a cesarean, but he was also a premature birth. I had some kind of placenta previa syndrome
Yeah. And they put your child into an incubator.
right away.
Okay. Do you find that that child doesn't actually kind of connect with people easily?
Actually, you know, he's very connected. He's more like me. He's very sensitive to everything around him, and he's a very sensitive human
Were
being.
you an incubator baby?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was born at home.
Oh, fantastic. That's the best kind.
Well, the hospitals were too far, and I wasn't even born in this country, so, you know.
Hey, Tamara.
Yes.
What about these dolphin births? Is that a good thing
Oh,
to do?
that's fantastic.
Underwater?
Is it really in
It's
the water?
Fantastic.
Sure.
Water births.
Yeah.
You know, Sandra Ray, let me just go back. Sandra Ray wrote a book called Birth and Relationships, and isn't that perfect that we're coming up for Valentine's Day that puts the emphasis on relationships and love and romance? Well, it's an ongoing thing, only it kind of zeroes in, it, you know, points at the pimple. And there are so many people at this time of year that start feeling that they, you know, they're not good enough. Relationships it's not about somebody in your life who's going to solve all your problems
No.
and reduce all the stress. It's about being able to be in relationship in spite of the stress.
Yes, and what I think I found is that most people think they're looking for somebody to make them complete and whole, when in fact, I look at it and I say, I am complete and whole. I just want someone to compliment me,
Absolutely, right on.
and that's it.
That's it. You know, so what happens is when people feel they're looking for the other half, well, if you aren't feeling like a whole and that there is supposed to be another half, you're just setting yourself and the other person up for disappointment.
And Tamara, let me ask you this. Since you're kind of a relationship expert as well,
Yeah, how
I
come
think
I'm
you are.
for everybody else, right?
What happens, a lot of couples go into relationships and they say, oh yeah, each of us gives 50-50, right? And 50-50 to them makes 100, so it's good. But the truth of the matter is, what I learned is that each person should be giving 100% of
Right on.
themselves right from the beginning. Otherwise, you run into things where the only person's only giving half of themselves, and they let red herrings into conversations, and they keep dropping them in, and it affects the relationship. You know, money.
Well, have a look at it like this. So they come into a relationship and they get together and they go on honeymoon. And then people say, oh, the honeymoon's over. Because what you keep doing is trying to test your partner. So in spite of the lumps and bumps and everything else, are you still going to love me? Are you still going to love me? And they keep setting themselves up. Instead of being able to be comfortable in the relationship and finding out what the true values are that you share, rather than blonde hair and green eyes and long legs or a heavy body.
That's just superficial.
Yes, but you know, we live in a very superficial society. We have done for a long time. And what people are really looking for now is something of substance.
Of course.
And so that's why I'm very excited, because I've been doing this for 30 years, and more now, people who used to be more superficial are looking for something more. And something more is not outside of yourself.
It's
something more is inside of you. And it is always my privilege to help facilitate you discovering that.
Yes.
You know, that's what's so exciting.
Through rebirthing,
Through rebirthing.
which is fantastic, because I'm going to do rebirthing with you tomorrow.
Yes,
I'm
you
going to.
are. I'm
I don't
looking
know what's going to
forward to it.
happen, but nothing's worked.
You know what? The truth is, I don't know what's
That's
going to happen
because he's
either.
so stubborn.
That's
and he doesn't
well,
let anything
that's his
through.
personal law. It's not. It doesn't work. Nothing works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how were you
Is that the
born?
most prevalent thought that you have in your mind? That nothing works?
Well, you know, doing the show here and being here at the station,
Yeah.
I've had a lot
Gazillions. Right.
of people come in here with different practitioners of all sorts, and
Yeah.
and I've had the good fortune of being able to kind of go through a lot of these
Yeah.
processes, and
Nothing works.
no,
You know what? All I can promise you is that you will spend time with me relaxing and breathing. Anything that goes on between there and here, you know, is a
sure.
gift.
Well, you know what, and
Okay.
and you know, sorry.
And
go ahead.
I'm not going to talk about your session. I never do. I never talk about anybody's sessions. It's up to you whether you're willing to
Sure.
talk about it.
Well, and you know, I want to do it because as
I
we
know.
were talking the last time you were in here, I've noticed in my own
Life.
that my own breath is
Shallow.
shallow, and
You
there's
kinda
always been a
gasp.
problem. I had pneummonia when I was a kid. I know we're gonna get. I
No,
got to give you
that's
sort
okay.
of some stuff in preparation for the session, but that's probably related to
Shallow
something
breath,
to do-
shallow life. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's.
Are you
pretty-
shallow?
I'm very shallow. Stella.
Listen, I can only tell you that the only thing that I could say after I had my first rebirthing session was, wow,
So
if
did I.
life can feel like this, I want that.
Yeah.
Have I perfected it? No. God's not finished with me yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still in process like everybody else. And I once said to a colleague of mine who came in from out of town to do a seminar, because I used to organize seminars with wonderful rebirthers. I said to him, every time a rebirther comes into town, my stuff is up. So he said, well, in the beginning, this is all stuff. And that's a little bit of joy. And as you start working the process, the joy increases and the stuff decreases. So I must have had a hell of a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, so did I.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, and it was exactly what you said. I felt a little weak at first, and I needed to walk. And I started walking in the wrong direction, of course, because I'm directionally challenged anyway. But it took me a little longer to get home.
Well, it's good. You had lots of fresh air. How are you doing with your bottle there,
I'm
my
liking
friend?
this
We need
drink.
more.
It's very. It's a
Very refreshing.
It's like champagne, but it's pure fruit juice, right?
Yeah, and it's French.
Yeah.
And it's French. I look forward to that. I'm going to give Costco a little thing, but I get it at Costco at Christmas time.
Would you buy a case?
Buy a few bottles to last the year. And I thought it would be nice to bring it in here.
It's very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sandra Ray, who is considered to be the mother of rebirthing, has written something like 17 books on relationship, on spiritual development. One of them I mentioned was Birth and Relationships. That's enough for me, thanks. Birth and Relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was Ideal Birth, which she talks about being born in water, talks about dolphins supporting the birth. Chris Griscom, a wonderful spiritual teacher, had her 6th child in the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they, like set a little area?
I wasn't there.
Because
I wasn't. No, it was in a waves.
You can do it on a beach. You think what it's like on a
not
beach.
on the beach, in the water.
Well, in the beach. I mean, in the water by a beach.
Yeah, I've just been offered a trip to Cuba. Last year I went to Cuba and I swam with the dolphins. It was so healing.
Do you know that there's 4 animals on Earth that are very revered and they're considered to have all the sensitivities that this planet also shares? One is the elephant, one is the wolf, the whale, and the dolphin. And dolphins are extremely intelligent.
Excuse me, they have a much higher consciousness than we humans. And where I went last year, they bring children who have disabilities, physical and mental disabilities, for healing to swim with the dolphins. I
That's
was
wonderful.
profoundly affected. That's the second time I've swum with dolphins. And in spite of the fact that they are in restricted areas, they are very highly respected. In Cuba,
I love them.
anyway.
I
They're
always have.
beautiful. I was very fortunate. I swam with a dolphin called Dana, and she had a baby not too long before, and we were the first group that she was swimming with after she'd had her baby, who was
Wow.
in the area with us. And the trainer said, "Look, if you know, we may have to take you out if she gets weird, but please be respectful. Don't go anywhere near her eyes or her air spout." And
Now, why the eyes in
who
particular?
likes anybody fiddling around your
Oh
eyes?
no, I know, you wouldn't want to touch it, but it
No,
didn't
no,
have
but-
anything to do with the birthing.
And
No, nothing
also,
to do
Stella,
with the
think
birth.
of it. If you had a hole in the top of your head, you wouldn't want anybody near that either.
No, because then you'd be like the cone heads, you know, and you get turned on
So,
if someone
Exactly.
so it
touched
was
your head.
really
Maps,
lovely.
maps.
She Dana worked with us. She let us touch her belly, and you know, we stroked her, and she came up and she kissed us. And from
Aw.
time to time, she'd shoot off and go and swim with her baby. You know, that's what she needed to do. Then came back to do her work again. It was really lovely.
Now, what
Was
kind of work
this-
are they doing, the dolphins? Like,
The healing work.
really?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, how do you? I mean, I
How
try
do
to-
I know that?
How do you know that? Like, what happens?
You know, I'm not a scientist. I'm a feeler. I'm a healer.
Hmm.
And I know when something's different. Something was profoundly shifted in me. Profoundly shifted in me after I had swum. Couldn't have been more than 20 minutes with a dolphin.
Where was this?
Cuba.
Oh, in Cuba. Okay.
I'd never been to Cuba before. And it's lovely. People are sweet. Country's lovely.
Yeah. What beach were you on?
Oh, I wish you wouldn't have asked
Were
me.
you on the south coast, north coast?
Near Hoguin.
Where's
Near
that?
Hoguin.
Near Havana.
In
How far
Cuba.
from Havana? How
Couple
far
of
from?
a number of
All
hours.
right.
That's
I have
the
no idea
science
where it
part.
is.
I don't know. You get in a car, you go, and you're there. No, I didn't go to Havana.
Well, you had to land in Havana. Probably.
No, we landed in Hoguin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We landed in Hoguin.
There you go.
So, I just wanted to talk about some of the events that I have
Sure.
prepared for the year. There are 3 things that people can tune into. Number 1, I'm giving a number of talks, various times. If anybody wants to find out when they are, please contact me. I'm going to give you a telephone number. It's 416 544 9244. The talks are going to be an hour and a half where we'll talk about rebirthing. People can ask questions. What I will do is give them a very simple 30-second exercise that will show them how to move energy as well as air. Just a simple exercise. And then I also am offering one-day workshops. The next one is going to be on the 19th of February. And it's open. There are another, I think, about 5 spaces left. And so I'm giving some one-day workshops, some 2-day workshops throughout the year. And there's another thing that's come up, and it's a global thing, that on the last Tuesday of every month, there's a breathing circle.
And people do this on their own?
No, I guide them. A very
But
simple,
other breathing experts
around the world.
do it with the
do it on
groups.
Tuesdays, on the last Tuesday of the month, and I have taken on to do the one here in Canada, the first one in Canada in Toronto, and it's going to be this coming Tuesday. The 22nd of February.
Now, what's
no,
going
wait
on?
a minute. No. That's not this Tuesday.
That's the last Tuesday of the
That's
month,
the
isn't
last.
it?
No, 22nd of February is the last Tuesday of the month.
So, what is the whole purpose of this
Breathing circle?
global breathing circle? Yeah,
Can
is
you
there?
imagine when people breathe together, they get
One.
into sync?
Yeah, and then what happens?
The consciousness is
Well,
it's
we're
collective.
one planet. We're one people. We're one. I mean, there's people have got to stop thinking of ourselves as separate. What I do for me, I do for you. So see that you behave yourself in terms of what you're doing for me,
Yes.
please.
Okay. So, I mean, what happens, and where is it in Toronto?
It's going to be at the Toronto Healing Arts Centre.
On Bloor Street.
On Bloor
near
Street, 7.
Christie, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
717 Bloor Street West.
So people are going to gather, and you're going to lead them
They're going
through
to
this.
phone me and register because
Okay.
I have a limited space.
All
I've
right.
chosen to have, just 12 people. And they're going to get together. There's going to be not a whole bunch of talking. Usually the people who come are people who just want to tune up. They've done breath work before. And it's cheap and quick. But they get the experience, which is nice.
And it's changing the world, right?
It's changing the world, one breath at a time. You know what? Have a look at some of those sheets that I gave you. There's something there that is a wonderful quote, not that one,
I can't see them.
Ta-da.
in small writing. I'm not sure which page it would be on. A friend of mine in the UK who actually came here to do some codependency work, David Parker.
We had him on the show. You
Yes,
brought him
you
here.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Read out aloud.
Is this the one from Swamite,
Swamite, yes.
Ananda,
Yeah.
UK?
He calls himself that. That's his Facebook nom de plume.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to read
Now
this?
he's been revealed.
Okay. Rebirthing new people is always exciting. One never knows how they will take to being out of control. Uh-oh, that's scary.
Go on.
It's not that scary. I did it.
I'm
Wi-
here.
One never knows how they will take to being out of control with controlled, conscious, connected breathing. I am always surprised how young clubbers are eager to drop a pill from a dealer without question in a club, but fear breathing deeply on the floor, fully focused, without chemical support. If only they knew that the end result of a breathe, has been described as coming up on E, they would do it more and fear less. Natural highs contain spiritual ecstasy, not chemical con tricks.
And
So-
the breathing doesn't take all the essential fluid from your spine that ecstasy does.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of people who have been on serious drugs. And the comment more often than not is, I get higher on this than I ever have on anything that I've ever taken. And it's
Right.
natural. What can I say?
That's
Now I'm going to get a slew of people who are on or have been on drugs phoning me.
Is it a cure for addiction or
Is there a promise
That
you'll
kinda-
never take anything again? Or anybody will take anything? You
Yeah.
know,
It-
is there a guarantee
no?
that you walk across the road
But I
tomorrow?
guess it's like, as you're saying, whatever happens when you're born is going to cause some
It's-
kind of
pivotal.
problem or
Right.
issue, right? And this is a way to help deal with that, right?
Absolutely. I have a colleague in Alberta who is a psychologist and has written several papers on rebirthing as it relates to various things, and alcoholism is another.
Mm.
And what I've been reading, what he's been saying very simply is that people who have had serious dents in their lives as youngsters, could have been from conception, gestation, birth, whatever it is, have a propensity to go for alcohol.
Really?
And I've been working with somebody who amazes me. He has gone so low that he has nowhere else to go. He's come back to rebirthing after 10 years. You know?
Better than the 12-step program, I'm sure.
Well, he's done the 12-step program. He said it takes you so far. He says, but this takes you all the way.
Which is great.
So, can't argue with that. And
No.
I can be very argumentative.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can get some
What?
for that.
What?
Some
For
rebirthing. Maybe you just need to breathe more.
Argumentative? No, I take Bach flower remedies.
Isn't that going to be illegal soon, Tamara? Aren't
Oh,
they?
no, it's absolutely legal, but I can't
now.
prescribe. I cannot prescribe, and I cannot dispense. This is very simply, it's vibrational medicine that I teach people how to do for themselves and their families. So I'm
With
not
the Bach.
prescribing, I'm teaching them what these remedies are, how to use them, and go ahead and use them. That's what this is.
What can you do? Just to give people an example, what can you do with Bach flower remedies?
Oh my God, have you got 100 hours?
No, but we got 30 seconds.
All right, I'll tell you what I did this morning. Okay? Just before I left home, I said, okay, what do I need? Number one, I took larch, which is one of the remedies, one of the 39 remedies. What's larch for? Larch is for self-confidence. I mean, nobody who knows me thinks that I would lack in self-confidence, but there is a sense of lack of... This is the perfect one for exams or for anything like that. Larch is for people who are inclined to be... would rather not do something than attempt to do something and fail. It's the fear of failure.
Right.
Okay? So... you know, am I going to make a mess of this interview? Am I going to fail at what I'm trying to do to promote some of the things that I'm doing and to educate people? So that was my thought. The second thing was I took beech, and I describe it in my seminars as beachy, 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 because this is the remedy.
Bitchiness.
This is the remedy that for people who don't really see enough good in the world. People who are always trying to find fault with things. They need to see more good in the world.
Instead
so
of
here I'm
judging.
coming along saying, that elevator driver, I've got to rush to get here before I have to climb 4 sets of stairs. You know, I wish he'd take his lunch at a decent time. You know, so I started to bitch about it in my own head. Okay, and is Hugh going to interview me and look at me directly? These are just thoughts. I tell
And
it
she's telling it like it is.
I tell it
so
like it
suck
is.
it up.
So here we are, and I'm more relaxed. I took my constitutional because most of the time people have constitutionals. I'm highly strung. I'm very enthusiastic. Sometimes my enthusiasm blows people away. So it keeps it kind of in check. There you go. And I could have taken walnut, which is, a general protector.
But I thought, no, Tamara, because I know you're teaching people about this stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, there's a big global war against homeopathy and against alternative medicine and stuff like that. Didn't you hear about it? It's
Do you
coming
want to
from
see
Europe.
my gesture?
Yeah. What are you saying? What is that? What? Tell
That
me.
means that the grassroots people will win out. If I ever consider anything, I would definitely consider homeopathy,
Yeah.
vibrational medicine. I don't care, and I will fight for it.
Yeah.
And I have fought for it. So who are the people behind all of this? The chemical companies? Perhaps. Not enough. Do you know what they've done to my doctor?
No.
My medical doctor? They're
What?
actually, because she prescribes tests and laboratory things to really check out what's going on, a certain college of physicians and surgeons, and we won't say whom, have actually, and because she's not prescribing medication enough,
Oh,
not
my
enough
God.
chemicals, they are actually taking her off the register. They're making it sound like something else. This woman is in the highest integrity. She's brilliant, okay? And that's what's been going on. It's devastating. So they look to see if the doctors are prescribing enough drugs for their
Do they
patients.
meet the quota?
Huh?
The quota
The
that
quota.
they're supposed to. Yeah.
Okay? So now they've taken away a fine doctor from the population of this country, because she's costing too much in tests. Well, she's been testing me for about 2 years and has now found something that is so remote. And since I've been working with it, and working with it partially from the chemical industry and partially mainly from the health food industry, okay, you know, nutrients and things like that, I'm feeling better. Okay? I'm feeling better.
That's not allowed.
Well,
We're
there
not
you
supposed
go.
to feel better,
So
right?
there's a movement now to have everybody like so. Where's the camera? Like so. And what I'm doing is trying to say, up.
Absolutely. Okay, Tamara, we're going to have you back on another show because we got a show that's all about that stuff.
That's right.
What?
I
All about
didn't-
what?
All about
On Monday
fighting
nights.
all this BS that's coming down from the...
It really exasperates me. It really, really does. I feel that instead of supporting people who have got a voice, people who are going outside of the box. I was speaking to somebody yesterday whose child was really not well. Are we in a hurry? Are you looking at the
Yeah,
clock?
we
Well,
are, because we
we're-
have another guest who's
Is your
supposed to
guest-
be on Skype.
Yeah, but we
Is
want to
your
hear the
guest
end of
here?
this story, and then we're
Oh.
going to...
Skype.
Okay.
break.
Her daughter of 13 was not well. The mother is an extremely attentive mother. And she took her child to the chiropractor to do some vibrational thing. And her medical doctor called her in and said, she said, look, I need a note for this child for school. She says, note for your child? Why have you had her home? She says, she's not been well. She says, you should have taken her pajamas and all to school. She says, I couldn't even wake her. She's now feeling better. And the doctor actually said that if you don't get that child to school, I'm going to report you to Children's Aid.
Oh, my
Come on.
goodness.
Exactly.
Come on.
Get out of the family's business.
Well, fortunately, this woman is a client of mine, and she's come up really together and strong, and has formulated her response to the doctor. Fortunately, her child is feeling better, and it's not just one doctor's prescriptions. The doctor actually hadn't even found that the child had pneumonia for 2 weeks.
Oh,
So there we go.
there
Okay,
you
darling.
go. Okay, Tamara,
It's
thank
terrible.
you. We're good, but we want to make sure people have your website and stuff so they can get in touch with you about
Put it
all
back
the
up.
stuff that you're doing,
All the
the
stuff.
teaching, the rebreathing, rebirthing.
Well, for anybody who would really like to get a little bit deeper, rather than just a little talk, you're welcome to come to a talk, because you'll get a lot out of the talk. And phone, please, to...
416-544-9244.
thank you.
There you go.
Come to a one-day workshop. It will change the quality of your life, I
right.
promise.
Okay, good. And we just put
Thank
up the
you, Hugh.
website as well, so
Yeah, we
people
had
can
it
check
up
that out.
That's lovely.
Get all the info.
That's what I was
So,
looking at.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Tamara. Great
The
to have you
website,
in.
talk about procrastination. That's
Uh-oh.
that's
See?
one of the things that I do. Like waiting 2 years, my daughter's got my new website just about ready to go, and I've been procrastinating.
Well, there you go.
Okay, you ready? Are we finished?
Yes.
We're done.
Goodbye.
We're going to take a quick break, come back with Gwendolyn Borders right after this.
He's probably been
Liquid
waiting.
lunch.